Ahoy there, and welcome to Nautical Tales and Nature Trails. I'm Will Morrissey, I'm your host. You know my wife Bridget is the producer of the show. She and I put together this book, Nautical Tales and Nature Trails, for folks that are moving into the area. We have so many coming in. Bridget is constantly racing up and down the coast from Old Lyme to Charlestown. She zigzags from Mystic to Mashantucket to Uncasville. She's on all the back roads because she hates driving on I-95, but can you blame her? Not really. But she's helping a lot of people find their dream homes, and while she's doing that on all these back roads, she finds all the different attractions that are in the area. I mean, we have so many people moving in. We've got people that are coming in to build the submarines. We've got the brave souls that drive the submarines. We've got students at UConn, at Avery Point, Mitchell College, Connecticut College. Got all the cadets at the United States Coast Guard Academy, plus all the visitors. I mean, Mystic and the surrounding area has been rated in the top 5 visitor destination last year. So a lot of folks coming in, but they just don't know what's available. So that's why we're doing this. And today we're going to be up in Uncasville. We're talking with Chief Lynn Malerba from the Mohegan Tribe. Welcome, Lynn.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here today.
I should be calling you Chief, I'm sorry. It's an honor to have you here, and I know you've been really busy the last few years and everything, and you've been telling me a couple little stories about the tribe and all, but we've got a couple different things that we want to talk to everybody about. Today we're going to talk about Tantaquidgeon, the museum. We're going to talk about the wigwam that's coming up, and also the Mohegan Challenge, for education. So we'll get going, but why don't we start off with the first video there, Michael?
So hello everyone, and thank you for having me here with you today. We're very excited to still be in southeastern Connecticut. Our Mohegan tribe dates back long before the first immigrants came to this shore, and we are proud that we have survived all of this time. One of the things that's really important to us is to educate our neighbors and our community about who we are, why we're here, why we're still here, and a little bit about our history and culture. Our Tantaquidgeon Museum is the oldest Indian-owned and run museum in the United States. It was built in 1931 by John Tantaquidgeon and his children, Gladys and Harold Tantaquidgeon. It houses many of our artifacts, but some of our artifacts are in storage as well. But it's a way for us to tell our story in a very tangible way. People are welcome to come visit us. It's free and it's open to the public, and just go on our website so you can see when it is free. The things that are in our museum are so important to us. We have a wampum collar from Chief Uncas that dates back to the 1600s. It's the oldest intact piece of wampum in New England and perhaps in the United States. And wampum really was used to give tribute to someone. Contrary to popular opinion, it really wasn't money. It wasn't used as money. We have a belt that is just a beautifully beaded belt that's only been worn by 3 medicine women, including Gladys Tantaquidgeon, but it's only been worn by 3 medicine women over the course of over 100 years. We have a box that depicts Sachem Uncas' journey to Wisconsin and back. It was a way for him to communicate with his relatives back here. And you can see we have a mortar and pestle. There's so many things in this museum, and some things that my great-grandfather made. He was the chief during his time from the 1930s to the 1950s, and he was a wonderful carver and carved a lot of things. So I encourage you to come and visit our museum. In the words of Gladys and Harold Tantaquidgeon, the reason that they did this museum is to make sure that, number one, they honored their ancestors, and they were able to teach our current day Mohegans and our future Mohegans about who we are and what our place in the world is. But they also said that you can't hate someone you know a lot about. So it was a way to educate people about who we were. We live in the midst of many non-Mohegan people, and we're good neighbors with each other. So we're happy to share our history and to share a little bit about ourselves, and we hope that everyone has a good time when they come to visit us.
Well, the museum is right here in Uncasville, just up the hill from St. Bernard's High School, isn't it?
Yes,
okay.
It is.
And you have this longhouse that we just saw the picture of. I guess it's behind the museum?
Yes, we have a beautiful longhouse behind the museum. We also have a cultural preservation center, and if you go further down the road is our Mohegan Church. And the church represents more than just a church. The reason the church was built and the reason that we were successful in what I call our re-recognition petition to the federal government was because we had to demonstrate that we were Christianized, or we would have had our own Trail of Tears. There were 2 Mohegan women who donated a parcel of land to our people for as long as a Mohegan walked this earth. And that featured prominently because it was the only piece of our reservation that we had left by the 1800s. And a couple of philanthropic women from the city of Norwich helped fundraise to build the church. But the church rapidly became our social center. And it was more than just a church. It was where our Mohegans gathered. It's where we used to hold our wigwam festivals because it was on Mohegan Hill, which is really a sacred piece of land to us. And so when you go visit the museum, if you look down the road, you'll see this beautiful church that we restored.
That was it a congregational church at one time?
It was a congregational church, yes.
You know, so I mean, it looks like any church you would see, you know, driving around. But you also had an area, and you talk about sacred ground, and I saw the symbolism that you have in the middle, and talked about 13 moons. Your year is divided into 13 moons, and it's kind of reclaiming a gravesite almost.
We did reclaim a gravesite. So what happened was our Fort Shantok, which is not the one you're talking about, but I'll get to that one, was taken by eminent domain by the state of Connecticut and made into a state park. Once we were, as I say, re-recognized, we had the funds to repurchase it. So we've repurchased that burial ground. That's an active burial ground. There was a burial ground in the city of Norwich that was dug up to build a Masonic temple upon. And over our protestation, we went to the governor of Connecticut, both men and women, because men and women have both had leadership roles in our tribe. And we went to the governor and said, you can't build something, you can't be digging up our burial grounds, but we were unable to prevent that from happening. So years later, we were able to then purchase that burial ground where the Masonic temple lied, and we're able to take the temple down, take the building down, and restore it to a place of peace. And we actually did reinter some of the ancestors who were taken from those grounds. But you'll see in the city of Norwich, some homes have some old gravestones of ours in their foundations. So it was a very sad moment in time that we couldn't prevent that from happening, but we were happy now that we're able to lay those ancestors to rest and give them a peaceful place to reside.
Well, you were talking about ancestors, and we just saw in the previous video Sachem Uncas,
Yes.
and you were telling me the story about him, and well, you mentioned Wisconsin.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, traveling pretty far, but
Yes.
he traveled a lot farther than that to do something pretty noble that I don't think people around here realized, that he was trying to form Dartmouth College.
Yes. So he worked with Eliezer Wheelock, and they went to England because they wanted to establish an Indian school, an Indian college in Lebanon, Connecticut. And unfortunately, so they traveled to London, they fundraised, they fundraised in today's dollars, in the equivalent of today's dollars, $2 million to fund a school for the education of Indian people. And when they got back to Connecticut, the charter for the college had changed, and it ultimately became Dartmouth College. And so Dartmouth was founded by our ancestor Sachem Uncas, and he is featured very prominently in that college, as well as in our hearts. He was very literate. He spoke Latin, he spoke Greek, he spoke Mohegan, he spoke Montauk. He was a preacher, and he was also an herbalist. So he's somebody who's very esteemed in our tribe and very interesting. And he was very disillusioned by the fact that the school's charter had changed. He was a little disillusioned with the politics in what became Connecticut, and decided that he would take some of his followers and go to Wisconsin. and he formed the Brotherton Tribe in Wisconsin. And so it was a group of people. They traveled through New York, they went to Wisconsin, I think thinking that, well, we want to be free of the politics of the colonies, so we'll go out west, not realizing that those politics would soon follow them. But he is a really interesting and just a wonderful leader in our world. But while he was doing that, his sister, Lucy Ockham, was the one saying, no, we're going to remain here. We're going to establish this church. We're going to give this land and deed this land to the Mohegan Tribe to make sure that they will be able to continue to live on our lands. And as our ancestor, Fidelia Fielding, always said, you shall remain where your ancestors are. So it's very important that we remain on our original homelands.
Well, she's also known as Flying Bird,
Yes.
I believe. But she was able to write down your language
Yes,
so that you can read it,
yes.
presently. And you said you got that back from which college?
Cornell University.
Cornell had that, huh?
So we're really fortunate to get her diaries back. We're not exactly sure how they traveled to Cornell, but we realized that they were at Cornell, and so we decided that we would ask if they would return them to us. Fidelia wrote diaries in English and Mohegan, and we knew that she wasn't doing that for her peers. She was doing it for future Mohegans because she knew that the world was changing. English was rapidly becoming the dominant language, but she wanted to preserve our words. And we're fortunate that Cornell were very gracious. They said, of course you should have these diaries back. So we had a big celebration with Cornell, the representatives from their rare manuscripts and archives, and it's welcoming an elder back to us. It's welcoming an ancestor back to us, because when anyone creates something, whether it's their words or whether it's a piece of art, we believe that they imbue their spirit. So we really felt like we were bringing her spirit back home. And so because we have those words, because we have her words, we also have some Occam's, all of his writings now from Dartmouth. Well, I guess we have 50%. The other 50% currently reside in the Connecticut History Museum. We are able now to reconstruct our language. It wasn't spoken fluently for 100 years. It wasn't taught to a whole generation of Mohegans, because in the early 1900s, people were beaten for speaking the language. And so that's why they wouldn't teach it to that next generation. They didn't want to put them in harm's way, and they didn't want them to experience bias. But now we are working with a lovely Mashpee Wampanoag woman who is an MIT trained linguist, and she has restored her language for the Mashpee Wampanoag, Jessie Little Doe Baird. She now has 5 Mohegan young folks, they're young according to me, as her mentees and tutors. So she is helping them restore our language and now develop both an immersion class to teach us and also workbook classes. So it's very exciting, and I am taking those classes, and it's not easy.
Well, there's a lot going on there, but you have something coming up next week, and we have another video to show you. Here comes the wigwam.
Oh, so we're very excited about our annual wigwam. It's always the 3rd weekend in August. It's always free admission. You can park at St. Bernard and be shuttle bused over to Fort Shantok, which is again our traditional homelands. And it's a wonderful celebration of our culture, again, to educate people about our culture and let them experience it. The best part for me is grand entry, when you see all of the tribes from across the nation dance into the circle in their full regalia with their different dance styles, and it's just really so much fun. There's drumming and singing and storytelling, and it's a fabulous day for people to experience our culture in a very personal way. In addition to that, we have lots of vendors. We have food vendors, we have arts and crafts vendors. The food vendors are my favorite as well, because they have really great food. They have indigenous food as well as, kind of the usual thing. But there are some vendors that will be serving, smoked fish and, chowders and sassafras tea and strawberry drinks, and so things that would be more traditional, Indian tacos, And I would say don't miss the ribbon fries stand. That's a lot of fun and
your
very
favorites?
delicious, very good. And it's a time, and then we have lots of vendors selling beaded necklaces and wampum and animal skins and lots of, very traditional native crafts. It's an opportunity for all of us Mohegans to shop a little bit and add to our regalias, which I do every year. And we, buy gifts for Christmas or whatever. So it's lots and lots and lots of fun and not to be missed. And so we encourage everybody to come visit with us.
Well, you mentioned to me that that's part of your week.
Yes.
You kind of recognize yourselves at the beginning of the week.
Yes.
Celebrate being Mohegan at
Yes.
the beginning of the week, and then invite the rest of the country to come in and
Right.
let's have a party.
That's exactly right. So we have a long cultural week, homecoming week, that is just for our Mohegan families. And then at the end of the week, then Saturday and Sunday, it's let's invite everybody in for a party and let's enjoy and let's dance. And so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, that's been going on a while. I mean, that's not something that's new, is it?
It is not new. And typically those festivals would have been green corn festivals. And it still would be a chance for traditional artisans to trade their crafts with one another. And that's very traditional for us. And as a matter of fact, where Mohegan Sun, our business, is built is on Trading Cove. And a lot of that activity would take place there, which is why it's called Trading Cove. But again, some of that was interrupted over the years, but it came back in earnest in the 1860s. Our medicine woman, Emma Baker, said, I had it in my dream. My mother told me we needed to bring back the green corn festivals. And so they did. And they were held at our church. They built an arbor at our church, and they would sell their traditional wares. They would have traditional foods, and they would invite the public in. It was always, a celebration with our neighbors. And so now it's moved back to Fort Shantok because it's bigger, and there's more space there, and it's under a beautiful tent so that you can just kind of sit and relax and enjoy the dancing.
Well, that's a great way to let people know about the tribe, your history, and where you're going. But you have a different way of doing that also with your Mohegan Challenge. We have a video about that. Can you run that for us, Michael?
So the challenge grant is very important to us because as students, even myself, I didn't learn about other tribes. We didn't learn about our tribal history even here in Connecticut. I went to Mohegan School, but it was just a school named after Mohegans. But we didn't learn our own history there, and none of our fellow classmates learned about our history. So this is an opportunity to entice our educators throughout the state to do a challenge grant and then to come in and learn more about us and to do more of a deep dive in our history. And the students always respond very well to that. They love coming, they come to the museum, they tour the church, they go to the wigwam, and they learn a lot about us. And so we hope that teachers take the opportunity, because we fund it, we provide the transportation, we provide the food, and I think it's a way for our students to do something different outside of the classroom that they may not get to experience in any other way. And I will tell you, the state of Connecticut is far ahead in terms of how they look at educating Connecticut students. There is now a push to have a Native American curriculum in all of the schools throughout the state. This is a wonderful adjunct to that, and it's a way to really have people come view what we have up close, ask questions, and it's a very personal way for them to be more educated about us.
Well, you also mentioned that the teachers have their own way of recognizing the Teacher of the Year, but you kind of sponsor the celebration that they have.
Yes, well, we love teachers, right? Teachers touch everyone, and they're so important in our community. And there is a Teacher of the Year celebration that happens annually. There's a board of educators that determine who the awardees will be every year, but Mohegan has been very happy to host that ceremony and to partner with the organization, because we think teachers they're not unsung heroes, but they are heroes, and they are heroes in our community because they're educating that next generation of our community who will take care of us in multiple ways. We want to make sure that they feel supported and celebrated. It's a nice way for us to be able to do that.
Well, you get to teach a little bit about the history of the tribe, and you mentioned Sachem Uncas and Flying Bird and Chief Uncas.
Chief Uncas, Chief
Was it?
Mataga, who was my great-grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You can find all these on the website. There's a whole page devoted to the history of all the different chiefs and everything that you've had.
Yes.
And you being one of them now, and that's a lifetime appointment, isn't it?
It is, and I am very happy to say that I'm the second female chief in the Mohegan Tribe. We had a female chief in the 1700s, Anne Uncas. And as far as I know, the governor was not happy with the fact that he had to deal with a woman back then. And what I've been told was, he said, well, we don't have queens in this country. And so I would beg to differ. I think we do.
Personally speaking?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're laughing about that a little bit, and you mentioned, the esteemed Samson Occam, but you're pretty esteemed yourself. I mean, I'm sitting next to the immediate past treasurer of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I'm sitting next to a doctor of nursing. I'm sitting next to somebody that worked in the hospital for over 30 years. I'm sitting next to somebody who's traveled the country pushing Indian affairs in medicine and in health. And I would have to say that Samson Occam isn't the only esteemed tribal member of the Mohegan Tribe. I'm sitting next to one right now.
Thank you.
I'm so pleased that you've been able to come in and tell us all these stories. And I'm sure you're looking forward to 2 weeks? When the wigwam.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll be dancing in the circle with my children and my grandchildren.
You said that was a big part of it. You get the kids all come back and
exactly
you
right.
have a big party you can celebrate.
We do.
Well, yeah, your schedule has been a little tight the last couple of years, I guess, being down
I'm
in
looking
DC.
forward to not doing, to only being in one place, and I have been in one place now for the last, 9 months or so.
But
which is great.
When we wrote the book, we realized that southeastern Connecticut, southern Rhode Island, what a wonderful part of the country. I mean, we've got so many different things going on here.
We do.
And your tribe is providing so much in entertainment, in recreation, in education, and you've got to be very proud of where you are going. Not proud of where you've been, but you've got to be very proud of which way you're going.
Oh, absolutely. And I will tell you that my mom was on our tribal council for 30 years. And she was part of the tribal council that got us through the recognition process and built Mohegan Sun. And so she, in my eyes, is the esteemed matriarch of our family. And if you look at the dollar bill, you'll see I wrote Lynn Roberge Malerba. Roberge is my middle name, but it's my parents' name. And I wanted to honor them by putting their name on the money too, as treasurer. But the thing that people don't understand is that we operate a business to provide services for our tribal people. The local, state, and federal governments assess taxes on their citizens in order to provide those services. We can't do that. Our land is held in trust for us. So in order to provide those same services for our tribal people, we must have economic development. So the economic development is Mohegan Sun, but that funds not only healthcare and public safety and all of those things, but it also has allowed us to now really embrace and preserve our culture. So it provides more than just healthcare or education. It's allowing us to restore our language. It's allowing us to reacquire objects of cultural patrimony. It's allowing us to restore our burial grounds. So that is in addition to what every other government would be doing. But for us, it's preserving our way of life and our culture for those future generations.
Well, that's great that the tribe is doing all that. And it's great that Mohegan Sun is providing all the entertainment and recreation for people and places. I like going up there for the boat show.
Right.
I've been involved with the Connecticut Marine Trades Association, and it's a beautiful place to hold a boat show. I mean, that rivals, the Javits Center down in New York.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful place. But you do so much for all of the people in Connecticut, Rhode Island, the United States, really. I mean, you've got plenty of people, I'm sure, international travelers coming in. And it's interesting that you point out that that's not the big focus of the tribe. The big focus of the tribe is carrying on. But you needed a way to pay for all that because you can't assess taxes. You have to have a business that's supporting it. So that's the whole reason behind Mohegan Sun for the Mohegan Tribe.
Exactly right. But we are, again, very proud to be a good neighbor. What's good for the Mohegan Tribe in terms of business is good for the state of Connecticut, because we purchase our goods and services from local businesses. We hire people from the local community. And so while we flourish, everyone around us also flourishes, and the state of Connecticut also flourishes. So that's why I say we will always, walk side by side with our neighbors, because it's important to us to do that.
Well, I'm thrilled to have had this opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you.
And I got a $5 bill that has 2 signatures on it. One that was printed when the money was printed, and one that says Chief Lynn Lerba. Chief, I'm so happy that you were able to come in today and just fill in everybody about what's going on. It's Mohegan.ncn.us, I believe.
NSN.
Right? NSN. If you need to get more information, Mohegan.nsn.us, and stop up there for the wigwam. You'll have a good time.
You'll have fun. And don't forget to see all the vendors.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in. And,
it's a pleasure.
Have fun at the wigwam. And till the next time, have a good day.